Two astronauts go on a mission with no name, in a spaceship with no name, to a planet with no name, for the sake of a plot with no point. This is Stinker Madness.
Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. We got the Stinker Madness.
Hello, welcome to Stinker Madness. I am your host, Justin. As always, Sam and Jackie are here.
Hello.
Hello. Guys.
And I believe the name of the life pod of the vessel was the Phoenix.
It was, which we eventually find out at the very fucking end.
Fucking end, yeah.
But it was like, none of this shit has any names. I'm surprised the characters had names at the beginning. Because then it would have been all like a bigger deal at the end when you found out their names, I guess. I don't fucking know. God damn it, this movie was stupid.
This movie was called what again?
Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, or Doppelganger.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that too much for you?
Well, I wrote down Doppelganger Planet when I figured out, this movie was only like 1 hour 41 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
At 1 hour and 31 minutes, I figured out what the fuck the movie was about.
Because we told you? After the movie told you?
I was like, well, I wrote down Doppelganger Planet, and then they were saying something else, and I was like, so what the fuck is going on? And that's what Justin, 1 minute 31, or 1 hour and 31 minutes, Jackie still doesn't know what the plot is. I'm like, oh my god. It's Doppelganger, right?
I figured it out at 1 hour and 11 minutes, and I was like, oh god damn it. And then Glenn Ross figures it out at an hour 24 minutes, and then 6 minutes later you figured it out.
That was the word. Yeah, that's the bad part about when you figured it out, is they actually, in exposition, told you
They
what
Morgan
was happening.
Freemaned the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys were laughing, and I was like, I don't get what's so damn funny. And I had written down Doppelganger Planet thinking that I was being clever, and then you're like, no, it's Doppelganger. Oh, well, alright then.
That's not the name of the planet.
But, it only took him 3 weeks. I was confused.
It only took
Supposed to
3
take
weeks.
6 weeks.
It was supposed to take 6 weeks.
Only took 3 weeks.
But it only took 3 weeks.
And then he crashed his plane
turned
in the
around.
Nevada desert.
Why did he turn around?
Why did he turn
Why
around?
did he turn around? It should have taken 6 weeks, but it only took 3 weeks.
3 weeks. You're a liar, dirty lying son of a bitch and astronaut.
In your defense, I didn't figure it out instantly. I bet you there's people that figured it out before I did, because my first initial thought was...
Because you've been drinking?
Well, that, of course. But, which is a subset of my life, because I mostly just try to figure things out because I'm drinking slower than everything, because I'm drinking.
I wasn't
Anyways,
even drinking during this movie. It took me an hour and
Yeah.
31 minutes to figure it out.
honestly, my first theory was that they just had too much sleepy juice, and that they just overshot the planet and came back. They just made the whole 6-week trip until the whole, you did it in 3 weeks. Should have taken 6 weeks. You must have turned around.
Yeah. No, I remember the point that...
And at that point, did they not...
So...
Oh, sorry,
okay,
go ahead. No, I cut you off.
You guys should Rochambeau for it.
Yeah, anyway.
Because that'd be exciting.
Remember at the very beginning when I say that's a really nice painting for the window in his office? Because it's a really nice painting. I inadvertently figured it out because right before they send him home, where he's in the car and it's backwards or whatever, the painting is in the wrong side of the fucking building and everything's backwards. Like, isn't that on the other side of the room? And then Roman looked at me, and then we both stared at each other with the poopiest of faces.
Oh, no.
Oh, god damn it.
Well, there was a couple flaws with the reverse.
They did. They and that's quite admitted even in the IMDb when you read the trivia, is that they were only able to get so much of it reversed.
Well, I don't know.
I want to say
all
I
the
think
props
so
were
many...
reversed, but some of the stuff with the I think that they didn't quite transfer the makeup for the arm attachments. Like they didn't have enough time for that or something, so those are still on the same arm. And
I thought they had them on both arms, so it wouldn't have mattered.
they only had them on the one, and it wouldn't have mattered because they don't get them transferred because you never see the mirror image of them.
Right. Well, the one that I noticed is that when he comes back in, and I figured out the plot,
the door still opens the right way.
The door still opens the right way. I saw that, but he's wearing a jacket that has the wings on the left side and like an eagle pin on the right or the left side, and the eagles on the wings are on the right side, and then he's on Doppelganger Planet when I see this, and a couple scenes later they're reversed. It's like, so his jacket just spontaneously reversed.
Maybe somebody got confused in props.
Yeah, no, they used to. Absolutely, I guarantee that's what happened.
Yeah.
They have to double all the props.
As I was saying in the point 5 was that there was so many damn issues with director versus producer, cinematographer,
and that they were all shit-faced.
Quitting, and that, a lot of the actors were just getting drunk in the middle of the day. So it was sort of a nightmare.
That's probably why this movie moves so goddamn slow, is because everybody's just housed.
Oh my
trying
god,
to
like
remember
when they're
their
getting
lines.
out of the spaceship to get into the Explorer pod, I'm like, how long is this gonna fucking take?
Forever. Forever.
Oh, you guys haven't watched a lot of these 60s space movies, because this thing is actually fast-paced. This one's a runner.
Oh!
That's why I chose it. I mean, this thing is like, whoa, this is...
It's a 3-weeker instead of a 6-weeker?
It should have taken 6 weeks, but it only took 3 weeks.
They must have
you're on
turned
the
around.
edge of your seat in this versus like the Space Commandos or some of the other ones that are just so slow. Because I think that's one of the things that you do as the early special effect. That's not really a special effect. You're in space and there's no gravity, so everything moves slow.
What happens if you fart in space? You kind of propel yourself
Yeah, you
forward?
propel yourself forward. Why not?
I don't think. Well, it's in your pants. You got like plastic pants on, so you just bubble out a little bit.
That sucks.
Yeah, but that bubble effect would push nothing.
I don't think so.
I don't think you would. If you were buck-ass naked, you would propel yourself forward.
If it was a good
but then
enough
you'd
fart,
be dead as well.
why would you die?
Because you're in the fucking frozen... Space is cold and
Well,
dark.
if you were naked in the spacecraft,
Oh, then you'd be fine. It would just be smelly.
it would be smelly.
It would be smelly in a
And
very small area that would just always be right there. Because the fart wouldn't just, permeate. It wouldn't, spread around
Why
into the
wouldn't
whole
it?
shape. Because there's no gravity.
It's
It
not
would
like
just stay
gravity
in a perfect
spreads
little
farts.
fart bubble.
Gravity.
Gravity doesn't there's no Newtonian law of fart spreading that is involved
Well,
with...
it's defy physics.
No, it's just... however the air is circulating, the fart's going to do it.
But there's no air.
In the spacecraft, there's plenty of air.
I
Yeah.
guess there is. So
You know what?
the whole ship would be stinky and it would stay stinky until the filtration.
The filtration of farts is our lungs. Until everybody
gross.
gets a good whiff of that fart, it's not going to get processed and it's going to be stinky in there.
Oh, the space station has got to smell terrible.
So I just have 2 things to say before we get going here.
Okay.
First of all, Sam, I know that you're trying to punish me because I didn't like that Jason Space movie.
I don't think I'm punishing. We had to do one of these 60s space movies at one point.
And so that's why we're doing another space movie. And I was going to say it was actually not that bad.
This is one of the better ones, I'm telling you.
The one thing that really got me, though, is that when we first started watching this, it was a general audience rating.
Well, I need to make 2 points of this film before you guys get too far. This is the first G movie we've ever done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And B, this is the oldest movie we've ever done.
This is really like our only crossover into the same sort of films that Mystery Science Theater will deal with. I'm surprised that
no. We
on...
got Manos coming up.
Okay,
I want to do Manos.
This is our
and
first of
Reefer
that.
Madness.
Our first of that crossover, anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's probably not on MST3K because of its complete lack of availability until 2004.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say about that general rating is that you're kind of our boob guy.
Yeah.
So if one of your picks doesn't
was
have boobs,
surprising.
I was like,
to see
what?
the G.
There are no boobs in this movie? And Sam watched it?
Not even any
What
violence.
the hell?
Or swear words or blood.
But
or
most of all, female nudity. And Sam
ninjas.
picked this movie.
Or guns. Or Chuck Norris.
To be honest, not only have I done this, I've done the only G movie, and I've done the only PG-13 movie Seagal ever did.
Whoa, well that's a fucking accomplishment.
So Sam
I'm
is
just
now
saying.
doing our
Bring
censorship
in the trumpets!
episodes.
I'm just saying that there's, more to me than my love of boobs.
You're a little deeper. You've
And-
got one more layer in your
and
onion.
ninjas. And guns. And Chuck Norris.
And though I will
And bearded men.
I will stand behind this one full wholeheartedly, I stand behind this pick, but I do not stand behind Half Past Dead with Seagal. That was fucking terrible.
No, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Well, anyways, I think we should we should get to this.
Okay, so when I first watched this, they go into the Eurosec
Complex.
that's like the safety deposit boxes of information or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yep, this is going to be as dumb as I think, because the helmets
Oh, yeah.
on the security is like, whoa, these helmets are super dumb. But then...
where have I seen those helmets before? They're like they're
these guys recycle a lot of their shit.
no, I've seen those helmets being
could've
worn
been
by
in-
assholes in Spaceballs. There's the same goddamn helmets where the helmets
Oh,
are round
God.
and stupid looking.
They're not the same exact helmets, but...
They're pretty dumb looking.
I think that there was another, I think there's a couple of nods from this movie, because I don't know of anybody that did the X-ray bullshit, because...
What do you mean?
So when they go for the security measure, they stand in front of the X-ray
Right, I know which
machine.
scene you're talking about, but what do you mean, like,
I
nobody
don't
else
know
has done that?
that prior to this, how many times that had been done, like... There may have been a number of inventive things in this film.
And why didn't they have to cover their crotches? Because that causes infertility.
Look, it's fucking X-ray. They need to be wearing lead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Eventually, if you went in there like 6 times a day, you'd be fucking dead.
That's why Ross can't have kids. Is because he's getting his balls zapped by going in through security.
That and his wife is a whore and she's on birth control.
She is a whore.
So that she can have promiscuous sex with
When did the
anybody.
pill come out? Is
Ooh,
that
I don't know, I think
60s?
50s, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that
Maybe
was like...
50s? Okay, so
yeah.
this is plausible. That wasn't a future device that she had. Because there
was birth control at that
there
point in
is
time, yes.
future devices in this movie. They are
Right.
intended to be future devices, even though they're much shittier than the things we have now.
But she doesn't want to have no baby with no damn astronaut.
Why not?
Because she's out being a whore.
Yeah, she doesn't want to have a baby, period. Like, that. She's using that as a point of friction in her marriage so that she can stay married to him, but
be
at
a
the
total
same
bitch.
time, go bone everybody and spend all of his astronaut cash.
Yeah. His
Because in
space quadruple.
a space industry that garners budgets such as $3,000 million, you figure he's
$1
making
billion.
some of that, like, how much does he's getting a good chunk of that $3,000 million?
He's making like 300 hundreds.
Yeah.
At one point, they called it
He's
3,000 billion pounds.
Yeah.
No, it was 3,000 million. But then the first person that actually uses the word, because I wrote down, like, so they don't know what a billion is in the future. But then the American shows up and I'm like, oh, only Americans know the word billion. Awesome.
That's right, because at this point in time, all you other countries are so damn poor, you can't afford it in the billions. So you just have 3,000 million.
And then later on, after the American establishes that the American contribution will be 1 billion of the 3,000 million, which would be 3 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jason, our buddy Jason, the director of Eurosec, he's tossing around the term billion like he knew what it was the whole
Super nice
time.
guy, Jason.
Very,
Very
he's abrasive.
benevolent.
But at the same time, later on in the film, when Ross is like, hey, you need to listen to me, he sits down and he seems to be very reasonable. It's like, you know what? I'm an asshole, but I'm a fair man.
This sounds plausible. I
Or,
believe
I
you.
will at least listen to you before yelling at you again, and if you make a good argument, I won't yell at you anymore.
You know, this is what I don't like about this movie. Is it's stupid. And 90% of it shouldn't even exist. Like, he's
It's
on...
an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, like, okay, the whole eyeball spy guy.
Oh, that was so cool.
Why do we fucking care, though?
The eyeball spy guy was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But why?
Because
why?
like the best future tech ever. In 1969, there's just basically no like digital technology. What? Even though the punch cards that they're using are digital, like that still hasn't equated. Like analog is still.
Oh, you mean
gonna
that
be king.
his eyeball's not a digital camera?
Yeah, it has to be. He has to take his eyeball out and then run it through the normal photo development process.
However, in the future, you may not have digital cameras, but film processing is still faster than Walgreens.
Oh yeah, and to be
That's
honest,
right.
that film processing was super fast because going through
1 hour
photography,
photo, go fuck yourself.
usually.
like- 30-second photo.
Yeah.
And he did all this cleaning thing where he put the eyeball on the spinning machine and he put it all through these little chemicals. and then he touched it with his hands and stuck it on the next thing. I'm like, what was the point of cleaning out the eyeball really nice?
Was all of the, that was like the developer and the fixer and the photo wash and then...
It's photo goo.
Yeah, but now
but still,
he's
he
going to
fucked
look
up
at those
his
pictures.
eyeball.
Well, it was developed
through the eyeball, and it's going to be
There are
like...
going to be big thumbprints on it.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't read these numbers because my entire... I've got Cheetos all over the film.
Like, we should debate how exactly the eyeball that has miniature film in it fucking works, but I'm going to. It was in the back of the half of the eyeball, so he's touching the front of the eyeball, and then when he puts it on his hairdryer giant caulking gun that uses a actual projector for eyeball cameras.
It did look like a caulking gun.
Or like a laser.
The only part that actually is relevant is the retina and then like the back that plugs in. So I don't think he was touching any of the important parts of his eyeball. His spy ball camera.
Spy ball eyeball.
I like how he had multiples, though.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to... See, I have never figured out, and I never will.
Owned an eyeball, spy ball?
No, like, are those just extra cameras? Or, which is more plausible because they're next to developer and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably, I was thinking the first time, and even for the first several minutes of when I saw this, maybe those ones have different functions.
Like X-ray vision for dates.
Mm.
So he could see the boobies.
Yeah.
They're not cameras at all.
Checking out the goods.
Yeah, he's like, got his one eye, giving him the once over. Nope. You have just shoved a whole bunch of toilet paper in your bra. You're not the girl for me.
Maybe he's into that.
Also during that scene after he goes into the Eurosec high security safety deposit box area where they keep all of their sensitive information. And taps his head to take pictures. When he goes back and takes his eyeball out, when we were watching it the first time, Roman and I, Roman's like, is that guy really got a glass eye? And I was like, you know what, I'm pretty sure that's just eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really give a good look at his other eye, but it's just sort of like...
he doesn't have an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just is
It did
dark.
look like he just like, somebody was like, oh, come over here, and then just kind of slapped some black eyeshadow
Yeah, it's
on
just
him.
eyeshadow.
Oh, that's where you don't have an eye. Well, he's in there taking pictures of Operation Sun Probe.
Yeah. Which, at that time, I mean, that's some sensitive information.
Yeah, but it's just fucking numbers. What does it fucking even mean?
Yeah, it's
Wait,
just a
there's
bunch
a-
of
There's a
gibberish.
blueprint or something in there. Schematics, but then it's just numbers. Pages and pages of numbers. There's not even... They're not even sorted.
The numbers mean something to somebody who understands the numbers.
Right.
Yeah, gibberish.
Well, then we're revealed at the UN or the space conference with all of the guys in Paris and Brussels and the Hog and asses get there and Eurosec's there and
That was an interesting thing going back to England and what they thought of themselves in the 60s. NASA, he was like in the liaison from NASA wasn't even involved. He was like in a booth.
Mhm.
Like listening to it on the telephone.
Like the secret
France
word is...
and Germany and England are the relevant countries on Earth at that point.
Yeah, the French
Which
and the
is-
Germans, though, we find out are just total cheap asses. They don't want to give any money to the Eurosat.
Well, you haven't even gotten to what they're trying to do. They've found another planet behind the sun that is in perfect rotation to Earth's.
That's why we've never seen it, because it's on the opposite side. And I think that there's another
Which
point...
sets up, like, at that point, you should have already figured out the film. That's clue one.
That's clue one, yes. That's why one of the
Because
other
it's
reasons...
impossible.
One of the other reasons I like this movie so much is I just like showing it to people and waiting for them to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I figured it out all that fast. It took till it got back, and it took till I realized that the sets were backwards, but...
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and then when you figure it out, you're just like, oh no.
Well, let's totally dork out here for a second and explain why that's not... that's clue one, is because we all know that the Earth is moving away from the sun, and that our rotation gets slower and slower every year. So therefore, if it was there 10,000 years ago, perfectly aligned, eventually you're going to see it because it's not going to be perfectly aligned anymore unless that planet is also decelerating as it moves away from the sun.
What makes Earth so special? Why doesn't the other planets have a mirror?
Yeah,
Which you would end up
shouldn't that
seeing
be
the
a
whole time
problem?
because they go around, this movie has problems?
Big problem.
Yeah.
So is there also a mirror Mercury and a mirror Venus? And
I just explain that as God standing behind the sun
Sometime-
going, watch these fucking assholes.
you know, sometimes I stare at my anus Or Uranus in the mirror. Mirror Uranus. I couldn't work that
No,
joke.
that was
That was
There is a
terrible.
joke there.
There's a joke there.
Anytime you bring up planets, there's always a joke
good
about
Twitter,
Uranus.
Twitter contest. Who can come up with the
Uranus
biggest mirror
joke.
Uranus joke?
One time I looked at my anus in the mirror, it blew my fucking mind. So they decide to send up men, and I think that this is why the spy guy is in this. I think, or maybe it was just because they're like, we got a cool idea, we need to work this in somehow with the eyeball spy ball.
I think the eyeball spy ball is just like, we got a cool idea, let's work it in.
Let's work it in. Well, they justify it with,
There's a security leech.
there's a security leak, we gotta hurry this shit up. Somebody
Yeah.
else might find out about this and send their own men up there.
Yeah,
We gotta zoom, get some guys up there, which
Again,
is fucking stupid.
When you were saying that, like, this thing is a heavy set of scissors away from a very good Twilight Zone episode, I think that it got a heavy set of scissors. I think there's probably, in fact, I've read that it got a heavy set of scissors. So there's probably a lot of Jason running around talking to different people about the Eastern powers. Cold War era, like beginning of the Cold War.
Doppelganger, the
Like,
director's
the
cut.
Russians or
Ass.
the Russians are gonna, the Ruskies are gonna get us on this one if we don't. Stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I
I
know.
would also like to interject here before we get too far. Two things that I noticed. All secretaries just dress like Judy Jetson,
Yes.
and future cars are freaking sweet. Every
No.
car in this movie was freaking
It was the
awesome.
But they
same
were all
car.
the same car.
I know.
Which
and it
makes
was
them not
awesome.
sweet. It's like moving into a nice subdivision and everybody drives the same BMW 3 Series. You're just clones of each other. You're all fucking Stepford wives if you only have one future Oldsmobile.
And that was what it was. It was the future Corvette. But if everyone has a Corvette, then the Corvette isn't special.
Is it not sweet? It's just as sweet as your neighbor's Corvette.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. You could put a nice air freshener in there.
your
Looks like a tree or
grandma's Corvette.
Or airbrush some lesbians on the hood.
something. Yeah. There's so many
Dragons.
things you could do to
Dra-
really set your future car apart.
Yeah.
Dragons, an eagle, and a werewolf howling at the moon. That has tits. That is
Which-
the sweetest airbrushing.
Yeah, and
when the
that's-
werewolf has tits.
What I noticed about the future as well is that later on when the ambulance shows up, it's basically like a golf cart with
Red Cross paint
like
on
a
it.
camper on the
I
back
thought
of
it was more like the thing
gators.
that gets your luggage and brings it to the airplane, the luggage carrier.
I think it might be one of those
Yeah.
that's dressed up nice, but it's like the future car, pretty big. Future van, not really big enough like the ambulance. You can't care for the person in the back of the ambulance. You just stuff them in the back there, hope that everything's all right when you get to the hospital, and you haphazardly drag them out of the back of the small cargo area.
That's right.
This man is taller than 5'8". We're gonna have to fold him in half.
No, you just tie
You just
a tag
stuff
to the
him
end of
in
his
there.
toe. Because it's
People
over your bumper.
Drag him.
People fold, especially when they're hurt. You just stuff them in there, their legs bend, all of it. Just cram them in
Not
there,
gonna make things worse.
close the door. They're already hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
I think some of this was from the ambulance. How do you know that?
Yeah.
What
you
are
know
you,
shit.
a doctor or a lawyer? No, he's a doctor, and that guy's a lawyer.
So in their rush to beat the other countries who are apparently all on
unnamed.
board already, like, I guess Russia. It's
Pretty
Russia,
much,
because
yeah.
Russia's not invited.
Pretty
to
much
this
the Russians and the
Eurosec thing
Asians.
in the future. God damn it. So, geez, this movie's so dumb. So it's obviously Russia because France is there. They talk
China's
about
not
Germany.
a world power at that point.
And
so it's-
no, can't be China.
it's, I don't know, via the editing
the
process.
Asians, well, the Japanese are part of it. The Americans are
I
part of
didn't
it.
think that they were part of it.
Oh yeah, because
That's who
they're
picks
part of
them
the
up.
rescue operation.
The Japanese rescue him.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Godzilla looking guy?
Yeah.
He's dressed like Japanese air sea rescue, dresses like a sea monster
Like
with
a kaiju.
with a beehive hair dryer on his head.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So it's obviously the Russians that aren't involved in the party. So basically what this is saying is, we've got to beat the Russians. We
Yeah,
got to beat
exactly.
the Russians.
And-
Even in the future, we're still having a goddamn space race.
And it's interesting in the context of filmmaking, be it via the editing process or in 1969, the Russians are that evil which cannot be named.
Yeah, no shit, huh?
Yeah.
So they got to send men up now. Fuck it. Fuck their safety. Fuck sending another probe. What happened to Operation Sun Probe 2? Get a good look at it. You know it's there. Send a probe down there.
Yeah, we send like 10 probes at everything.
Yeah, man, just check it out and have some data come back, land it, put like a record in there, the gold record with like some Johann Sebastian Bach and maybe some Sebastian Bach from Skid Row and see what's up.
Yeah.
You're gonna get one in return.
At the same time, though, you go back to 1969, there's a fever to put men in space.
You know why they didn't do that? Because if they'd sent a probe with Johann Sebastian Bach and Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, they would have got Johann Sebastian Bach and Sebastian Bach from Skid Row in return, and they would have looked at the probe and been like,
we fucked it up.
It takes 6 weeks to get there and come back. You've only been gone for 3 weeks. Why did you turn around, probe?
Yeah. Then they would have sent another probe. That would have happened.
And it just would have been a loop.
Yeah,
Which I think at the end, this movie
eventually they send up Ross, and he...
Yeah. We'll just infer that all that happened.
No, it didn't, because they moved everything up 2 weeks. There's just not enough goddamn time.
Yeah, there's just not enough time. Let's get these guys up in space and zoom!
Yeah, this non-astronaut guy that we're gonna make him do all this shit that he's not gonna have to do when he's in space.
The only thing you really know about this guy, other than he's an astrophysicist, is that Jason is probably the best friend he has.
Uh-huh.
Jason's really just... He's raking him over the coals on the astronaut training.
Oh, boy. So he's got to go through the spinny thing. The not gravitron, which is the gravitron, basically.
Yeah, in
It's
the
worse
actual...
than the gravitron.
Yeah, because the normal...
But it's better at the same time.
Space training thing that actually exists just spins you around real fast. This thing was tossing you around.
It's like a fucking space dreidel.
It was awful. Like, is this going to happen to me in space? No. Why are you doing it to me? To see if you can take it. Or if that situation where you're being under that much gravitational pull, 10 times normal Earth, and then also twirling in every way possible, you're in a crashing spaceship. Which,
we need to prepare you for death.
we need to make sure that you're able to make it all the way down before you die in fire.
That's right.
We're going to prolong this crash for you as long as possible.
Yeah.
Just in case you
Just
land on
in
a
case.
doppelganger Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can hit the send button on your email before you die.
Email.
Send button.
Send button.
Send.
Send. All the files that they had. Send.
See, they didn't have any email because he would have emailed the information.
And then it would have been in forward.
There would have been able to, when they get to second Earth, they would have been able to just get the information
It
off
would have
of
been in
the other...
LTR instead of RTL. That's nerd talk for left to right and right to left.
Oh, I was wondering where you were going with that.
It's actually a thing. A lot of websites. Believe it or not, there's countries where people read backwards, right to left. The letters are still in the same sequence. Screen would be still written SCREEN. It's just the sentence is backwards. They read with their eyeballs from the right to the left.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing on the internet. Every single website has to be RTL compatible.
Huh.
Yeah, because what is it in Japan and China? They read from the bottom, completely backwards. The back of what would be the back of the book for us. They start at the bottom corner.
Maybe that's
and
what it is. Yeah, that's RTL, I think.
It's backwards and up versus the way we do. And so, but it started in characters
So
like
you're
that.
so you're saying Eurosec just pisses all over the face of any Asian or Chinese man? Like, oh, everything's written backwards. Guess what? It already was, motherfucker. Assholes. Fucking driving on the wrong side of the road. British people, sons of bitches.
Well, apparently, according to this movie, all that the Japanese is good for is dressing up like a sea monster and saving your fucking astronauts.
All right.
not good at
Let's
anything.
get this going. So he's on the dreidel, the spinning dreidel of death.
We skipped over it. We know where we are in this
He's
movie?
on the rocket. He has to go on the rocket space training thing that goes 850 miles an hour, I believe.
No,
I'm
we didn't
guessing
even
that
bring in
means.
Roger. Like, where we are in the plot of this movie is that they find that there's a spy. They kill the spy
It's not really that important.
so that they can
Nothing is that
then approve the budget of $3,000 million.
Right. Very important. Well, either way, they bring in Glenn Ross. They go through training. He does the spinning dreidel thing. Gets on the rocket sled that goes 850 miles an hour. he's good to go on that. What's the last
bring
thing
in
that
Glenn
he does?
Ross.
Oh, they shoot him out of the freaking...
Oh, yeah, the space survival training, which is just fucking so stupid.
Top of a fucking plane that... Oh, now you get to parachute back down to...
Right, and then they have to
Where
ride the donkey
Mexico?
cart with the wine jug. But you know, it should have taken them much longer to get back to the base.
and they had to.
Well, they were early.
They were early, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're going to get in trouble for being early. Why? You just get more training. I guess that's the trouble that they're
And
in.
it
Is
is
God damn it, they're going to
implying-
put us in another flying dreidel.
The donkey was walking faster than they could, and it wasn't. The donkey doesn't pull a cart faster than a human can walk. Why you ride on the cart is just so you don't have to walk.
You know what I
You're
think?
going the same speed. You're just not working.
I think I
True.
figured out that training sequence. What that was preparing them for. It wasn't for like emergency parachuting operations or anything like that. It was landing them out in the middle of nowhere in case of Planet of the Apes scenario. Like, if you crash on this planet and it's filled with apes, be prepared. So we're going to launch you into Mexico. There's your training.
When was Planet of the Apes?
72?
So that was after this, even.
I think so.
I was really hoping for apes when they got to the new planet.
I was
I
hoping
was-
for something than what I got.
I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be
Goddamn.
apes. Here we go.
I would have liked sea monsters. I was really hoping for sea monsters.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
got
Sea
as close
monsters.
as you could get to a sea monster without diverging from their plot because he was dressed as one, and his costume did not make sense.
No. It was like a Godzilla. It was so insultive.
He wasn't like... There was no waters, but he puts back on his snorkeling equipment and goes back down. Like, just take all that off. You just gotta pull the guy up.
Yeah.
What are you even doing?
Why are you breathing like that?
Other thing, like future technology that is like Rube Goldberg's version of future technology where you take extra steps and have more machinery than necessary was when they first bring in Ross and they have the plane that the bottom of the plane detaches and it
becomes a
turns into
mobile home.
like a bus, but then all it does is just go up to the terminal versus what we have now, which is just an accordion thing that attaches to the plane, which is a lot cheaper.
Yeah. But you know, hey, they're Eurosec. They've got $300,000 million
Yeah.
to spend.
Well, I think that was just sort of like the thing when you go back and look at all those 60s and 70s, what's going to happen in the future, bigger, because they were having to build things bigger to make them do more, so that everything was going to be more complicated when at some point people were like, you know what? Crap is already a little too complicated. Let's dial some of this shit back, because I don't think we need all this.
Well, finally, eventually, after a long and drawn-out process and him preparing for this mission, and the whole preparation thing...
And a whole lot
has
of
nothing to-
spicy Cheetos.
Spicy Cheetos.
I ate a lot of
you ate the
Cheetos
spicy
during
Cheetos,
this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah. When we find out his wife is a tramp and she's on birth control.
And
blah,
she
blah,
went
blah,
to
blah,
see
blah.
the cathedral with
And I
some other
still-
man.
Nothing really fucking matters to the plot.
You know, I still don't understand the other thing. Like, they bring them in, the Rosses come in, right?
Uh-huh. Ross and... Oh, the
Rosses,
Rosses.
the married couple.
Mm-hmm.
That's not their house. That can't be their house.
No, I think that was implied to be like a condo where they would stay while they're training.
But it just, like, is treated like that's their house.
Yeah. They treat it like it's their house, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think it is their house.
I think it's the airplane
What? The airplane?
that detaches and goes up to the...
That's what the inside of that looks like?
Yeah, it's their house.
It's got double doors
No,
and a
all that
bed and
does
magazines.
is go
Yeah.
to the terminal of the airport. That 600...
Or does it?
Okay, I might have been
On
confused then.
Doppelganger Earth.
That $6,000 million airplane
I think
that
they
turns
fucked up
into
the
a bunch
props
of
again.
different shit.
I think they fucked up the props
No,
again.
what do you mean?
The house. The double door, open up the door, you're in the bedroom.
Yeah,
House.
that didn't seem to be the same colored doors.
I don't think it was. I think in Doppelganger Planet, that was a totally different house, but it was implied to be the same house because he goes to flip the lights on like you'd seen him do 1,000 times, and the light switch isn't there. Oh, now it's over here. What the fuck? Why would we even make that connection unless we'd seen that house before and everything's backwards?
Well, I had said, because I was like, double doors? Because I thought that they were going, and I've seen it twice and I still get confused, Because she, like, gets out of the car and then she comes in and there's double doors and there's a bed in front of it. Like, your bed is in front of your fucking front doors. But then when they get back to the house the second time, there's a door and then he goes into double doors. So it's like you have a single door for the front of your house, but double doors for your
But when
bedroom.
she comes in to the double doors the very first time and he's laying on the bed, you can look through the doors and it's outside out there.
Is it?
So I think they fucked up the set.
They may have. There's a number of continuity errors here.
Yes. So either way, let's get to this shit. It's finally fucking launch day. Finally. This is like minute 50 of setting up this goddamn movie that could have taken 10 minutes to set up to get to launch day. Could have edited all that. You don't care about his personal fucking problems. They don't matter about anything to the plot of the movie or
No, and I
his
think
training.
this-
Oh, astronauts have to go through training?
Here-
Whoa!
Here's Opposite
And
Planet,
then launch takes fucking forever.
which would have made sense to the plot of the movie if his wife is a dumb whore when he leaves and he gets there and she's like a good wife or something.
No, your personalities aren't in reverse because
No,
that would
apparently.
obviously be a big red flag. Like, what the shit?
Because she'd be like, I'm a good wife, why are you not a dickhead?
Yeah,
But he was kind of a dickhead.
Now, there's
I
a
don't
whole
know.
lot of problems with that scenario where it's just things being written backwards. You can manage that one. Because then it would be like history would be completely changed. If Hitler's fucking Jesus and Jesus is the total
No, that's
butt
all
sack.
of a sudden
No,
like
you
a Harry...
people can't
okay,
be
that's
reversed.
So yeah, because then you're turning it into a Harry Turtle Dove novel.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't work. Just writing, you can do that, and it's not really going to fuck up anything. It's basically going to still be the same thing.
Right.
And
At this point, when he gets back though, and he starts seeing things backward,
At this point,
we're at launch.
you're not even paying attention to the podcast,
Yes,
let
I
alone
am.
the
We were
movie.
talking about double doors and how he was back.
No,
Okay, go
no,
ahead.
it's still launch day.
Oh,
We
God.
haven't even taken off yet.
And why do they have to sit in the plane for an hour and a half before it takes off?
It's like 7 hours before, like, the start of launch day. 7 hours before launch. Let's see them get some shit glued to them. That doesn't, well, I guess it does. It's the blood machine. But
Well,
why,
that's not
hey,
even till
let's fucking
later.
cut that. Well, no, they're getting prepped and they get the little diodes strapped to their...
No, they don't. They get like the poop and pee things
that
put
was
on
just on
there.
their space shoot.
Yeah, but the diodes don't happen until they're in space already.
No, they don't get used, but they have to get put on.
Oh yeah, they get put. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
prior to launch.
It doesn't,
cable
that's what I'm
TV.
saying. We haven't even fucking launched yet. It's just launch day.
We didn't even talk about any of the.
We don't
political-
need to.
all of the. We don't have to talk about all of the political shenanigans
Nothing.
that Jason had to pull to get this launch approved.
Nothing matters to the plot of this. None of it matters.
God damn it, Jason is not
It's
just
so-
a good director of ESEC.
Get
He's-
those scissors
or
and clip
Eurosec.
more.
Eurosec.
That's why this isn't a fucking Twilight Zone movie or episode. Is because it should only be 20 minutes. Man goes into space, comes back. In theory, it's not the same planet. The end. 20 minutes. So they get diodes strapped to them, which, here's how you cure that. You don't need to set all that up and go, oh, they're getting future. No, you just gas them. You just gas them in the fucking thing.
Or,
Gas comes out
you
of the
know
machine.
what?
We are ready to go to sleep. Psh, they get
They
gassed.
have
They're passed out. They get to the
The
planet.
diodes on there, and you just assume that they had those put in at some point.
Yeah, because they're going to watch TV later, and they have to have an input and output for the sound and for the VCR. Because that's what it looked like.
You just go up to the TV and just go plunk. Ah. Which viewers can
Sit
see.
ahead and watch reruns of Sully, Jesse, and Donahue.
So after like fucking 7 hours of their time and our time, it seems like all sorts of launch preparation, you watch them go up the model. And I understand that that's like a lot of these directors blowing their own fucking horn
It's
shit.
their miniature
but
people.
it sucks. Watching the goddamn thing
Go all the way
10
up.
minutes, the elevator go up the launch tube shit machine.
You say that. While we were watching it, Jackie said out loud, "That's a nice miniature."
Don't fucking care.
It worked on her.
And it was a nice miniature, but
You know what?
thing
The
is,
Mona
though, is
Lisa's a
that
nice painting. Does that mean there's a fucking story behind it?
when they released
Yeah.
that,
No, she was just sitting on a dildo. End of story.
okay, that was weird.
Actually, it was that Leonardo had his wiener out.
End of story. Don't need 2,000 years to tell me that. Just say, he had his wiener out. The end. Still looks good.
Did he really have his wiener out?
I don't fucking know.
Nobody knows. That's like, one of the great questions of history. Why is she smiling? I don't know, because we make people smile when we take their fucking pictures. Maybe that's the answer. Fucking history. Wow.
The end. Roll credits.
Yeah.
God damn it. Painted by. Oh, okay. So they go up the fucking elevator. It takes a month, and you get 10 million shots of the fucking rocket and the building that separates in half to expose the rocket.
That's right. Some sweet shit going
And then
on.
there's guys with fucking earphones going, we're ready, go on the
there's
thruster control.
The guy in the white shirt that tells everybody what to do. There's a guy in an orange shirt next to him that looks like he's doing something. And then there's a guy on the other side of him who just smokes a lot of cigarettes.
He's also in an orange shirt.
He's also in an orange shirt.
and don't forget about Ross's potential girlfriend, who's just there hanging out.
She has
Works.
a job there.
She is employed to not work.
Oh, yeah. No, what do you do here?
Yeah, I didn't.
I get concerned
Was
about
she security?
astronauts.
Was she the security girl?
I thought she was the
I
security
thought she was
girl.
like public relay. You know what she
Security
is?
girl disappears. If she's not security girl just
No,
vanishes.
she's
After
definitely
she dresses like an iPod, she disappears.
She's definitely not security girl because later in the movie they escort her out during a sensitive situation.
by a guy in a blue shirt
Who is
Yeah.
basically
Color
there.
coding.
who is not security girl. What the fuck happened to security girl?
There was no the guy is security guy, the guy that shoots the eyeball spy guy.
No, he's hitman guy.
He's security
he's
guy.
special ops guy. No, because there's the security officer who's a lady, and we all said, "Oh, lady officer, she doesn't look like she's in charge of security." And then she shows up to the party dressed up like an iPod. She's wearing the pink thing with the white circle in the middle of it.
Yep.
And
I thought that was
she
the same
gets
gal.
introduced as the director of security, not the same girl.
Oh.
She just disappears. She's like a critical plot piece of the plot, and she's just gone. But there is no critical piece of the plot. We're into this 45 minutes. We gotta get going. So
It's
that
taken off.
launches. Yay! Successful model work. It looks good. Yay! It's a rocket that goes up into space. Neat.
Right. They put on
They
their...
did a nice job with the chemical work on this. All of the fire and explosions and all that.
It looks great. It all looks great, dude. It's really good model work. It's dumb. So they strap, once they get into space, they strap into the blood sucking in out.
TV VCR
Sleep
I'm
repair.
time
guessing, so
meth
it's
machine.
morphine, and then it also feeds you intravenously.
And some acid. It's morphine and acid.
It's a good, nice ride.
Yeah.
Which should take 3 weeks.
No, it should take
Unless
6 weeks.
it's a return trip.
3
it
weeks
should
return.
take 6
but
weeks.
it should take 6 weeks.
It should take 6 weeks to get there and back.
Unless you turn around.
But it only took 3 weeks.
But it should take 6.
But it should take 6.
Unless you turn around.
Unless you turn around, which then it could take as little as 3 weeks. Or less, or more.
But
Why
definitely
did you
not 6
turn
weeks.
around?
Why did you
Why
turn
did
around?
they turn
Why
around?
did they turn
It
around?
should have taken them 6 weeks.
But it only took them 3.
But it only took them 3 weeks.
Why did you turn around?
Well, while they're in flight, they go through the pretty color clouds
I don't think
of
that's-
Oh
space.
my god.
It isn't, because later
Is
on,
it?
when they put the drugs in him to find out what's in his brain, he goes through the same scenario. So the drugs just do that to you.
So he goes through the pretty clouds in space, or his mind clouds of pretty colors
Of drugs.
It's basically
They
a
should've
lava
just
lamp
played
and a kaleidoscope.
That Aquarius song.
So are you saying that David Bowman was on fucking acid?
Could have been.
Or what about Barbarella? Was she on acid?
Barbarella was on acid.
Oh, she was definitely on acid. No, David Bowie.
David Bowen wasn't
just
on
went
that.
through the monolith.
Yeah, he just went through the monolith.
It's made of stars. Yeah, so he goes on an acid trip, basically. It's not space travel, but it kind of seems like space travel. It kind of seems like it's supposed to be the inside of the sun, but it's not the inside of the sun.
It kind of looks like the Aurora Borealis as well.
And, like, food-colored glue dripping
And
down the screen.
some shit that you like to look at when Inagata Devita is playing. That would have been sweet instead of all the...
Adventure space music.
Inagata Devita's 8.5-minute organ solo.
Tell your mom that I love you. So they make it to the planet, and they crash. Like it's like.
I think what's funny.
Oh God!
And I think that one of the real shames of how sort of painstaking getting through this thing can be sometimes is that you don't realize what a shit job they do on re-entry. Like, autopilot
I
engaged.
realized, like, it's like everything's going perfectly.
No, because they're like, the autopilot's in, like, you see the spaceship just tumbling out of space, and it's like, disengage the autopilot. That's what the autopilot does? The autopilot just sort of, like, lets us fall horribly, and then, like, he gets it straightened out, and then he just starts clipping cliffs. Like, you know what? I can't fucking drive this thing either.
Built this thing. We only had 2 weeks.
No, the guy that built it was sitting next to him, and he's like, you're doing a good job.
He had to also do the space training and build the machine.
No, that's what he did. He designed, because he was like, it works. He's like, of course it works. I built it earlier on. So yeah, the guy that
that's true.
designed it is sitting next to him, and the guy that was trained to drive it, like, both of them at this point are like, we should have had different jobs.
And here's the thing, though, is that they tell you when the autopilot's on, right? It will get us within 5 miles of the selected target. You can build a spaceship, but it's only accurate up to 5 miles.
Yeah.
So
That's a pretty big stretch of land that you could...
Yeah, like...
That's basically anywhere in the world, the difference between mountains and not mountains.
No,
and they're
what
talking
it is.
about, like, how there's all this vegetation and jungle and water and stuff, you know, how beautiful this planet is. And then they go land in the biggest shithole part of it in the desert with all these fucking cliffs and rocks and shit.
Mega epic
Oh, yeah.
cliffs.
Yeah.
I
Model
know, that's
cliffs.
why it's only 5 miles, because it's Garmin 1.0. They're like, this isn't Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Well,
damn.
they crash. He gets blown to safety, essentially.
So,
Yeah, he
that's
does.
which is fine.
Scientist gets blown to safety.
Scientist gets blown to safety, then drags out astronaut.
Uh-huh.
And then while scientist takes said astronaut, Ross, and then just sort of hawks him into a crater. Like, after he chucks his friend into a crater, he gets exploded.
And the ship
Again.
explodes.
And the ship explodes.
And their clothes explode.
Yeah, they catch on... Well, he catches on fire twice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which sucks for him.
Yeah, so then the whole movie happens. Finally, thank fucking God.
Finally, Godzilla comes.
The Godzilla gets like... there's like a light source, and you're thinking that it's like an alien
Aliens.
probe of some sort,
Right,
you know?
like a spaceship.
And then all of a sudden, the webbed-footed guy comes down. You can't really get a good look out of him. And he's like, he's gonna pull out a laser, and it's gonna be something stupid like Mystery Science Theater-esque. But it turns out it's just an Asian guy. It's just some Asian guy. What the fuck? He takes off his super future helmet, safety scuba gear,
And then says,
outfit.
hey, I'm from Air Sea Rescue.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back down and get your friend. And then he puts on all of his dumb bullshit and goes back down there. And it's like, okay, one, you're not going in water.
in
Two,
the
you're
air
not even touching the
or the
ground.
sea.
So it doesn't have any detriment to you that you're still wearing your flippers.
He's like on a bungee.
Because if you had to walk around down there, your
He's
flippers
essentially
are gonna-
like what are the Coast Guard guys that goes off the
Yeah.
the helicopter guys that goes down into the boat and grabs the people and then brings them up to the helicopter type thing.
But he's dressed like an asshole.
Yeah, he's dressed like Godzilla.
So they bring them back to Eurosec, which we finally realize that it's Eurosec. Jason's there, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's Eurosec, and they're giving him the business. Not Jason, not Ross, the other guy, John Kane.
John Kane.
He's in a tube, life support tube of some sort.
Right.
He can't talk. It's only Ross. Only Ross. So
And
they
this
stick
is
him
my
in.
very first scene that I'm slightly confused. I'm like, how the hell did they get back to Eurosec?
confused. I was confused. Absolutely. I was like, what the fuck? That's when I was thinking that he just overshot Earth and came back. Because the scientist guy was in charge of the sleepy time medicine.
Yeah.
Obviously a terrible engineer. So
He built everything.
The alarm didn't
Well,
go
that's
off.
what I'm thinking the first time I see it, too, is that, well, he designed it. The autopilot doesn't work worth a shit. Even the guy who's trained to fly it can't do it. They probably overshot.
Yeah, they overshot and just came back.
And my thought was, they got anal probe. And they now are all of a sudden being just zapped back into Eurosec. They're like, we got what you needed out of your butthole.
Like
now,
missed time.
Yeah.
Missing time,
And
whatever
then all of a
that's
sudden
called.
he wakes
Time,
up and
Lost
he's
Time
being
in the X-Files.
interviewed. And, like, he's in the hospital at Eurosec. They were like, yeah, we found you.
Yeah. Why is this my butt hurt?
Yeah, so I thought, okay, they got probed. Like, that Godzilla-looking guy, he was really an alien, and they got probed.
Except for he was an Asian.
Well, yeah, but I couldn't explain that part. Okay, there was a lot of this stuff I couldn't explain.
Well, they stick him in the interrogation room.
Which is a giant orange
Butthole.
juicer
Yeah.
with a chair in the
swivel
middle of
chair.
it. And then you sit on the interrogators, which one interrogator is the guy who shoots people. The other interrogator is the girl that doesn't do anything.
That wants to bone you.
That wants to bone you. And they shine a light in your face, and then whoever's asking the questions, it's like a sound-activated chair that just swivels you back and forth to face that person.
You think it was
long
that-
enough
you-
to not? I
He
don't
didn't
know.
have control of swiveling?
Well, who has control of the swiveling at that point?
Why wouldn't he have control of
Who
swiveling?
has control?
The
of
guy
swiveling?
getting interrogated.
Oh, the guy getting interrogated has control of nothing. That's
Yeah,
like
you-
rule 1 in interrogation. If you never
Take away
interrogated a
control.
man,
You're going to keep your arms
Well,
and legs in the interrogation
Not
chair at all
since
times.
the incident.
I don't want to talk about the incident.
Yeah, no, I thought that he was in control. I was like, why doesn't he just stop swiveling? Like, this is stupid. I'm not going to
No,
swivel anymore.
in terms of the technology of the movie, both the lady and the guy probably have control, and that's why he's swiveling around so much, is because like, stop moving the thing. I'm trying to move the thing. You stop moving. He's like, you stop moving the thing.
I'm asking the questions.
I have seniority here. I can move the thing.
Did
You
John
need to stop
Kane
moving
design
the thing.
this
John
interrogation
Kane
room?
designed everything in that whole space station area.
And is he down in the crater so you can just randomly throw shit at him? Because you're interrogating this asshole. You're like, answer my questions.
Tomatoes.
Yeah,
poop.
they give you a box of rotten fruit, and they're like, he doesn't answer you correctly, just hit him with an onion.
They took they put you down there, and then you say,
They are British. They do throw bad food in Britain.
All right.
it took you 3 weeks, but it should have taken you
6 weeks.
6 weeks. They say that several times, and then you say, I can't hear or see you. I'm 38 feet away from you, and a light is shining in my face, and this chair keeps swiveling
I
around.
think I'm gonna be sick.
Why? Why?
Why?
Why?
This is worse than astronaut training, but only barely.
Well, at that point, this is when I figured it out. Was it an hour and 11 minutes? So
When-
I'm going to give
after
myself
you-
a trophy there.
You finally answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
It only took 3 weeks.
No, it was. I got it
But
when I got
It
it
should
at the
have taken
cologne
6.
bottle. I got it at the cologne bottle. What was it? Good Smells Cologne or something?
I don't. It
Hot
was
Appeal
something,
or-
Hot Appeal or some shit.
God damn it! And it was written backwards.
In the
That's
mirror.
when I was like, "Fuck."
And one of the other reasons where you're like, fuck, is that the second time viewing it, every time they show you something that's obviously backwards, there's a cue in the music.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
music
the
cues
biggest
are there.
one. Like, that's when they want you to know.
Yeah.
They
At this
want you to
point-
know right there, and then you're going, oh, god damn it.
I think by this point I'd eaten so many Cheetos that my brain was just shit. Because they were playing the music and I was like, why are they like making a big damn deal about the light socket being on the other side? So the guy's a little forgetful.
Well, first she drives on the wrong side of the road, supposedly, and the guy. Okay, god damn it. So,
But I'm in the wrong side of the car. My
He's-
pants buttoned up backwards.
yeah, but even then, like, aside from all that, she's still driving on the wrong side of the road because it's a head-on collision. Somebody's on the wrong side of the road. He does the right thing and pulls the wheel to save their life. That guy was on the wrong side of the road. If it was backwards, that means she's on the wrong side of the road, and she just had one of those drinking lunch hours.
Oh my god.
She's fucking drunk.
Quite infamous on the making of this film. The other thing is that he's on the right side of the car for England.
Mhm.
Because he was on the left side, she was
Right.
on the right side, she
Right.
was driving.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That wasn't backwards.
Nope. Because
Unless in the future, in 2069, they decided to, play ball with the rest of the world.
There you go, Britain. It's written in the movies now.
Well, also the light switches aren't where they're supposed to be. They're on the wrong. The house is backwards.
Everything's...
Everything's written backwards.
a number of things are backward, but not everything.
Well,
The important things are backward.
he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he's like, "Shit's all backwards. Shit's all backwards." Well, he goes to Jason, and Jason's like, "Oh, we're gonna prove you wrong." and gives him a backwards test, making him read the fire alarm message in the mirror, and it turns out he can read perfectly backwards. So that backfires for Jason. Because it was like, we're going to prove that you are full of shit.
Is one of those fun Jason moments where he's not just like, could you read this? He's like, read it!
No!
He just sort of snaps off. Which is, that's what happens when you start drinking that early in the day. And it isn't apparently just on set. Like, during the movie, these guys are seen to be in the middle or early part of the workday. How about a highball?
Yeah.
It's 10. You want a highball?
Yeah, no,
sure do.
Yeah, the drunker some of these actors get, the worse their hair is. From scene to scene, it's like, they obviously just woke that one up. And they were like, get in there and look out this window and say this line. And he's just like, blah, 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 blah. And then you could just tell that he just turned
Trails
around,
off.
got his bottle, and went back to his trailer.
We're in a world where everybody, Earth in the 60s, where people drank all day. So you drink all day and you're all drunk, and then you're like, well, I should make one of the subservients drive me home. Not because they're less drunk, because it'll be their fault.
That's right.
And not yours. How much have you had to drink? Probably more than you. Okay, well, you're driving. It'll be your fault. And then if they do a shitty job, you go, pull over, I'm driving. You're going to have to drive it back. I'll slap you a few times when we get to my house.
Well, at a minute 20 or an hour 24, Glenn figures it out. He's on Backwards World, Doppelganger Planet. And so, he convinces Jason of the same that it's worth giving it a shot. Hey, I can prove it. I'll go up and get the Phoenix and bring it back, and it'll have backwards writing.
Everything will be
Everything will be backwards.
Except apparently the polarity of electricity.
Yes. No, that does not matter. So they send Glenn up to get the ship, and then he docks in the spaceship, in the Doppelganger, to the Phoenix, and
the electricity shorts out because they reversed the polarity on...
You think that they would have set it up so both ways, because that's one thing that they don't fucking know.
Well, no, they can't. It either plugs in or it doesn't.
No, you just flip a switch and
I don't know. You can't do that. Have you seen their technology?
You
They
get
don't
an
even have an
AC/DC
accordion to
adapter.
the plane. They take the bottom of the plane off and drive it 30 feet to the goddamn terminal.
That's true.
They're not going to be able to figure that shit out.
The future sucks.
Yeah.
Well, he's all fucked, because
And-
you can't... You plug it in backwards and it shorts everything fucking out.
No, actually, what seems to happen is he says the retro rockets fire. So if you plug it in backwards, what it happens is the space vessel immediately decides to crash itself.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And boy, does it crash.
Right. But we also learn once again that autopilot is a piece of shit.
Turn off the autopilot! Turn off the autopilot!
He
Nobody
keeps
can
saying
hear you,
that,
Glenn.
But, and they decide to turn it off like, is the spaceship gonna hit us yet? Not yet. Okay. How about now? Yeah, I think it's gonna hit us now. Turn off the autopilot. Wait, don't turn it off yet. Is there any way for him to avoid hitting us? No, at this point, no. Okay, turn off the autopilot.
Yeah, okay.
It
So autopilot
explodes-
kills him.
It explodes everything. Everything. The next
apparently,
ship that they had
In
dialed
3
up.
weeks, they were able to build a
a
whole
new
other spaceship.
ship for some reason.
They probably just had a spare. They had a spare rocket.
No, they had the model. They had the original model. They just stuck it back there and like,
Yeah.
we still got it. Let's blow it up.
Well, no, I think one of the things that is predominant in the Andersons production is they build a lot of really neat models, and they generally blow them all up, which is awesome.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
they did
It was
a really
pretty
good job
epic.
of blowing it up.
Explosions. Good explosions. Well, then we get the epilogue, and Jason's old. He's crotchety, and he's getting taken
He's in the
care
bin.
of. Is he in the bin? I thought he was like in his own mansion.
No, he's in the bin.
No, he's in some
Nobody
kind of-
believes him. She's trying to give him medication.
He still believes
Well, he has
Yeah.
to, because it's the truth. The truth,
that
Justin.
he had no proof about, or
Well,
seems
all
like
the
a
proof got
Somebody
explo-
told me that, I'd be like, oh god, this is bullshit.
Sam's like, no, I didn't eat those tacos last night. They just magically disappeared from your refrigerator.
Bullshit, you ate them.
Yeah. Nobody believes that you're living in a parallel universe, Sam, where your doppelganger self came and ate the tacos.
He came from the other Earth to eat the tacos, Jackie.
God damn it, Sam. Nobody
I
believes you.
would have eaten the tacos because they are delicious, but my evil self ate the tacos first.
Well, Jason decides to meet his doppelganger self and crashes through the mirror. That's what I
Which
get out of
he
that.
hits that thing fast enough to maybe break part of it
Yeah.
and lose a toe.
Yeah. Or like
Oh, no.
split his head open a little bit and go,
Like, well, that didn't work, and now I'm in the infirmary.
and have 7 years of bad luck.
Or if it's one of those sort of facilities where they're like, he hit the mirror, leave him there for a couple hours, he's not hurt enough, let him bleed out for a little bit.
Yeah.
This one's that's not going to kill anybody.
That's right. She's like, fuck, I'm not picking that up, and I'm off in 35 minutes. You're going to stay there, and I'm going to pretend like I didn't see you.
And then we can have sex with him.
I don't know you'd want to have sex with that old guy.
Well,
Oh, I think that's all that happens there.
how do you have sex with somebody that's bled out?
I don't know. Just
Well, I
do it.
mean,
Just do
if
it.
you're a lady.
Put a
Let's
cocktail straw down their wiener hole.
I think that's going to be damaging
And
for all
then you
parties
tape
involved.
it. You tape it in there so it'll stay kind of hard. But if you really want a good ride, you got to get the longer cocktail straws.
All right, let's move. Let's get
I saw
wrap
it
this
on
up, guys.
SVU.
Let's wrap this up. We're going to
You saw
introduce.
it on SVU.
Yeah, they raped some guy by sticking a...
Oh, that's not going to work.
We're gonna introduce
All
a
that's
new
going to do is
segment.
damage his bladder.
We're gonna introduce a new segment here. Shut up. It's called Shut Up.
Called guys who get their bladder damaged by implausible television shows.
All right, this is our Q&A where you, the listener, have to listen to our questions and the answers. So, I'll go first. I want to ask a question here.
All right.
Where the fuck did they crash?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a different planet.
That's-
It's Earth. Where is that?
Apparently, that's a war-torn area of Earth in the year 2069. Because that's what year it's supposed to be, is 2069.
I thought it looked like a crappy desert.
But no desert
It's
looks
not even
like that.
It's just it was a alien world.
Yeah, very alien.
It was dark.
The sky was
stormy.
different
All
color.
of the dirt was gray.
Gray
They landed
dirt.
at night.
But it was like red, greenish sky.
Well, that was because of the rescue ship. I don't know. That's...
And they were in a
maybe
crater.
maybe they thought that they were going to go with when they shot that scene, right? Is that these guys have landed on this new planet, and then they're like, "Oh, what? Okay, so throw in the Godzilla guy, and we'll have him saved, and then we'll just cut to a new scene. We never have to explain."
Which
that again.
goes to another point of the film when they're like, well, how did they not notice any life signs? Well, they were over here, here, and here, so they couldn't have. They didn't notice anything because not only are they a bad designer of spaceship, a bad pilot, but they're also bad at looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here's my my answer. Where did they crash? Albuquerque. Moving on. Do the toilets on Doppelganger Planet flush backwards?
Like,
Blow
spin
back
like
into
in
your
Australia?
face.
Yeah.
Or just shoot poo back?
I don't either.
No.
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 They're like the polarity of electricity.
So in this
Shit
whole
runs
scenario,
downhill. That's physics, baby.
yeah, some things you just can't change. So because it only was supposed to take 6 weeks, but they only took 3 weeks. Is he still getting paid for the full 6 weeks, or is he only getting paid
Ooh,
for,
that is a good
for 3
question.
weeks? Or is he not going to get paid shit because he didn't spend the 6 weeks out there per contract?
That's a hell of a question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that was why Jason was like, fuck you, dude. Don't be giving me this I can't read things, everything's backwards shit. You just want your fucking money.
Yeah.
Ah.
Now you're going to claim that you couldn't read the contract.
Yeah, Jason is a ball breaker.
Yeah.
He's reasonable when he has to be, but he runs Eurosec and he has to run it with an iron fist.
Yeah. So how do we know? Is he going to get paid?
That's a very
What about
good
the guy in the
question.
tube that dies from somebody yelling at him to death? You know, like, I'm pretty sure that guy had no family, so, like, who's getting that money? Does that just go back into the yearly, well, I guess we're gonna buy, housekeeping a new washing machine because Phil died in the auto tube, so we don't have to pay him. And so-and-so only took 3 weeks instead of 6 weeks, so we're getting some new laundry facilities this year.
And normally, if you get the job done in 3 weeks, even though it should have taken 6 weeks, you're either due a bonus or you're just going to get hired again.
Yeah, you get a pat on the back for that
That's
stuff.
right, yeah.
Have
But this
the
time, they're like, you're a
same money
fuck.
half the time. That's what he's all about. I'm about that.
He's
Sam-
about being in the microwave, getting things done 3 times faster than an oven.
Are those your questions?
Then I wanted to know, Oh god, I asked a bunch of them. So, is it really a second Earth? Or is it just an illusion? Like the sun
Oh,
is just...
god damn it.
What?
So,
Is it just a dream inside?
no, so I was
Is it the
thinking
end of
maybe it's a
Dallas?
solar flare that is causing a reflection of the Earth in a solar flare, and so they think that there's another planet over there, but there's not.
No, it was the second
It
planet.
was a second planet.
All right.
That one's an easy one to answer. Sam?
Why would a research organization employ a full-time assassin? In
case?
In case of everything, apparently.
No, they didn't even try to like make him the
I don't
head
know.
security guy.
No,
they
he's
were
just-
just like, nope,
Why is that-
assassin guy.
I don't understand why that's a big deal. I'm a
Do
website
you
designer,
think
and
that
I
that-
employ my own assassin.
Do you think NASA has assassins?
Of course, everybody's got assassins.
Well, I think the Air Force
You're a
does.
retard if you don't have your
Well,
own
the Air
assassin.
Force is in charge.
That's
of
why
NASA,
your business
basically,
is
right?
not going well.
And they've
Yeah, you
got
need
their
your own
own.
assassin.
They've got their own. Wet work people, right? But NASA themselves are just scientists, and that's what you got to assume with Jason. Jason doesn't work for the government above him. He's
Well, he is
the head of-
European.
he's the head of their version of NASA. Why does he have an assassin?
Cuz.
Huh?
Because it's like top secret stuff.
Maybe that guy was an assassin. Maybe he was like Greg the janitor, and he had to become an assassin for job security. Like
Yeah,
he
he's
just got a
like-
promotion. Hey, you know what? We need an assassin today, Greg. We don't need so much floors getting waxed. Go kill this guy.
Yeah, go
Or
wax
get
this
fired.
guy.
Or we're going to shoot you into space to a doppelganger planet. What ifs? Job
And I mean,
security.
he even picked up after himself. We don't know that this is not a true assumption because when he shoots One-Eyed Man, right, that's taking all the pictures, he shoots him perfectly into a bathtub where the guy hits the water on the way down. So he cleans up after himself, technically.
Yeah, he's
So he
janitor
probably is a janitor slash assassin. And he's like, I'm going to shoot you right in front of a bathtub. I don't want to clean that shit up later.
Okay, then why is an obviously southern to southern eastern European with a donkey cart in England? Because you can't walk to England from southern Europe, and they had to walk. That was in England. Donkey cart guy in England.
That could have been a Jippy.
It could have been one of the pikeys,
Yeah, Jippo.
which don't actually give you rights; they just murder you.
Yeah. And then steal your sweet astronaut shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he might have been Italian because they did have an Italian jug of wine.
He kind of looked like he was Amish, actually. Did the English have Amish?
You know what? I bet he was an illegal
I was
alien
gonna
just
say
sneaking around the country.
That they were going for Italian until they passed the obvious Santa Fe looking mission.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell are they?
Yeah,
And you can't walk back from there.
No, no.
Nope. Either that or that's a super talented donkey.
All right. Recommends, Jackie,
Oh, yeah, I do. For a space movie, this was awesome.
Sam. love
No.
it. I am going to give it a do not.
Really?
I thought it was an utter waste of time. I hated this movie.
Oh, how about that? Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna hate every other one that's like this then.
Yay.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it had some redeeming qualities.
Well, let's get to the doppelganger, chopper, whatever.
Choppa, 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 choppa.